Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. The departure of Marcus Rashford from Old Trafford in January conveyed a new status to Luke Shaw, who is now the most experienced member of the squad and the longest-serving player when it comes to playing for Manchester United. Shaw is into his 11th consecutive season of service to United and has 278 appearances. He is now at the top of the list for current players, with Rashford out of the picture. But the 29-year-old isn't going to feel much like celebrating as he continues his rehab and his latest attempt to get over another injury setback. Today is also a significant milestone for Shaw. It is a year since he last started for United in the win at Luton on February 18th, 2024. He has started in a European Championship final for England since then, but for his club, there have been 3 substitute appearances totalling 98 minutes, and that's it. He hasn't played since December 1st. Since then, there have been a couple of false starts, with the defender returning to training only to pick up another injury. Every time it happens, frustration mounts for Shaw, Ruben Amorim and supporters. Just under 2 weeks ago, Amorim called this latest problem a small issue in a different area from the last injury. He hasn't trained since, and caution is again the watchword, but at some point he needs to play a game. When he does, he might find that his status as the most experienced player in the dressing room has already been stripped away. Because here's the thing. Shaw made his United debut on September 27, 2014, and has made 278 appearances for the club. Bruno Fernandes made his debut on February 1st, 2020, and has played 270 times. This sums up Shaw's injury record during his time at United, and explains why so many fans have already given up on him ever being able to be a reliable contributor to the cause again. Since Fernandes signed and racked up those 270 appearances, Shaw has played 108 games. Rashford made his United debut 18 months after Shaw, but has played 148 more games for the club. According to Transfermarkt, Shaw has been unavailable for more than 300 United games through injury and has spent 1,659 days on the sidelines in 11 years. That is the equivalent of missing 4.5 years of football through injury. The first thing to say is that this is staggeringly bad luck. Shaw's first serious injury at United was gruesome and could have easily ended his career. He showed resilience in recovering from that horrendous leg break in Eindhoven, but has found it difficult to stay fit for prolonged periods. The shame for Shaw is that he seemed to have cracked it a couple of years ago. He missed just 3 games in Erik Ten Hag's successful first season in charge, and emerged as not only an outstanding left-back, but also a reliable left-sided centre-back. After his brilliant European Championship campaign in 2021, he was at the top of his game. In January 2023, during that first Ten Hag campaign, he played centre-back against Erling Haaland in the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. United won, and Haaland managed 0 shots on target and 0 key passes. But the last 2 years have been a disaster. The frustration with Shaw's fitness record amongst supporters stems from the fact he managed to return for England last summer, but then broke down again back at Carrington. As with any player with such a run of injury misfortune, it is worth bearing in mind that nobody will be hurting more than Shaw, who is spending the peak years of his career on the treatment table. He will be desperate to get back and help his teammates now. United really could use his quality on the ball as a left-sided centre-back in Amorim's 3-4-2-1, and it's only been 3 years since he excelled as a wing-back. He still has 2 years remaining on his contract at Old Trafford, and his recent injury record means suitors are unlikely to be queuing up. 2 years ago, Shaw proved his quality. Now, he needs to get fit and stay fit to win over his latest United manager. But that is proving easier said than done. Rio Ferdinand believes Manchester United could go winless for the rest of the season, but still wants Ruben Amorim to stay. The Red Devils have endured an awful run of form since the Portuguese coach replaced Erik Ten Hag. Sunday's defeat to Spurs, already their 12th league reverse of the campaign, leaves them sitting 15th, just 2 places above the relegation zone. And in attempting to predict the rest of the campaign, ex-United star Ferdinand believes that Amorim's side could actually finish the season without another win. He thinks there is one game that they are sure not to lose, that being an away clash with struggling Leicester next month. He said, "Manchester United are absolutely struggling at the moment. Only Wolves and West Ham separate my club from the relegation places. Do you realise we're that close? Someone said we need 11 points just to stay up, and I'm starting to think like that. I've got the fixture list here and I'm looking at the game and I'm being serious here. Go through it. Everton away, Ipswich at home, Arsenal, Forest away, Man City, Newcastle away, Wolves, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Aston Villa, Leicester. The only place I potentially see us getting anything, and I'm not even saying a win, is Leicester. We've slapped up Leicester a couple of times already this season, so we've got their number," added Ferdinand. "Normally you look at the fixture list and you can see where the points are coming from. We just looked at the fixture list and I'm not seeing outright wins. I'm not looking at it thinking there's 3 points here and there's 3 points there. That's the problem." And while Ferdinand is not confident of United of picking up many points throughout the remainder of the season, he believes the club should stick by current boss Amorim. Asked on Twitter if he thinks Amorim should be sacked, he replied, "No coach stays." United will hope to prove their former star very wrong this weekend as they attempt to at least round off the season positively. But Amorim's side have a tough assignment on Saturday as they take on a resurgent Everton. Away from the league, United are of course still in the Europa League, having finished third in the league stage. They will take on Galatasaray, Real Sociedad, AZ Alkmaar or Midtjylland in the next round. Ruben Amorim admitted his job is so hard after yet another defeat, but insisted he is not under threat. Manchester United boss Amorim has now collected just 14 points from a possible 42 since taking charge last November, and this was the third time Tottenham have beaten them this season. Amorim has also seen his squad further decimated by injuries, as United winger Amad Diallo has been ruled out for the rest of the campaign. Amorim, whose team are now 15th in the table, said, "I have a lot of problems. My job is so hard here. But I stick with my beliefs. We just need to face it and not run away. That is my feeling. I am not worried. I understand our fans, what the media think about it. I hate to lose. That feeling is the worst. It's hard to face the fans in this moment. But we are doing everything. I'm doing everything. The rest I am not thinking about. I am here to help my players. I understand my situation, my job. I am confident in my work, and I just want to win games. The place in the table is my worry. I am not worried about me." James Maddison got the winner and took aim at TV pundit Roy Keane, who this week criticised the Tottenham midfielder for not being a difference maker. Maddison, who celebrated his goal by putting his finger to his mouth to signal shush, said, "I've always been a goal-scoring midfielder. That's why Spurs brought me to the club. I'm there to be that creative outlet and score goals. There was a little bit of outside noise this week. People will have their opinions. Nobody is more critical of me than myself." Tottenham boss Ange Postecoglou believes the win, and players returning to fitness could be a turning point for his season, but also said he could have no sympathy for Amorim. There was a big protest from fans before the game, about 1,000 strong, but the sit-in protest did not really materialise afterwards, as just a small number remained with banners against chairman Daniel Levy. Postecoglou said, "If I check my office, I don't have any sympathy cards from other managers, so that hasn't happened. It's unacceptable that we're in the position we are. But the circumstances have dictated that to a great extent. The circumstances will change. The guys who came back in today will improve and make us stronger. There's still 2 or 3 more on the horizon who will also come back. That gives us an opportunity before long. It's only one game, but I thought today was an important game if we were going to start that progress. Getting 3 points makes us think, okay, it's starting to make an impact too." Ruben Amorim urged Diogo Dalot to get tighter to Son Heung-min. Less than a minute later, Dalot was still too narrow, and Son's volley wreaked havoc, eventually leading to James Maddison's decisive tap-in. Failure to take on those instructions typifies the defeatist mentality of this Manchester United squad. They have no hope of mastering Amorim's 3-4-2-1 system if they cannot master routine orders. Dalot is one of the senior statesmen and the first to approach the United supporters before every game. tribally beating his chest and clutching his fists. He needed to be as intense approaching Son. He wasn't, and it cost United. Amorim's shoulders slumped. He outstretched his arms in disbelief at United's positioning and Casemiro's looseness with the ball. He constantly had to reposition the players and complain to his staff about a squandered overload. The United coach also berated Rasmus Højlund for being flagged offside. Højlund was filmed grinning or grimacing, sheepishly. Some will dismiss that as an innocent expression. Others will take a dim view of a striker who has now gone 15 games without a goal. At full time, Amorim slapped his thighs against his legs before he embraced Ange Postecoglou. United have failed to score in 10 matches this season, and it is 2 successive league defeats. The United players and staff were still applauded gratefully by those in the away section. They had 12 players missing through injury and illness. Losing at Spurs in that context is hardly a disgrace. Yet United have lost 3 times to the worst Tottenham team since Christian Gross took the tube to White Hart Lane in 1997 within 5 months. A banner in the away end read, "We want our club back." On the other side of the segregation, Spurs fans unfurled their own message to the ownership. "Our game is about glory. Levy's game is about greed. We want Levy out" was aired in the 3rd minute. There was a sit-in protest at full time. The club United fans are likely to get back is of a 1974 vintage. They will head to Goodison Park next week below Everton in the table for the first time since David Moyes was in the away dugout in April 2014. Maybe the Grim Reaper will reappear in the away stand. It is now 12 Premier League defeats this season for United, 2 shy of the 14 last season, and 9 defeats in 21 games under Amorim. Amorim applauded the players encouragingly as full-time loomed, acknowledging their undeniable effort and enterprise. United had 16 attempts, and Guglielmo Vicario made 6 saves. The 3,038 United followers supported their club defiantly, singing the Calypso on the hour. If Alejandro Garnacho had rediscovered his shooting boots, then United might have avoided a domestic treble of losses to Tottenham. Garnacho does not turn 21 until July, but this was his 124th appearance for United. He did not lack for commitment, stretching every sinew to block a clearance and practically brushing Patrick Dorgu to one side to sting Vicario's right palm. Despite the lowly scoreline, much of the game was nigh on identical to the League Cup quarter-final between the teams on the same turf in December. United trailed to a conversion on the rebound and created the clearer openings. The crucial difference was Tottenham never got the 2-goal advantage. They did not need to. This was the 10th game of the campaign United have failed to score in, and both of their £108.5 million strikers were in the starting lineup. Joshua Zirkzee's approach play was silky at times, yet he fluffed his sole goal-scoring chance with a header. United were late arriving at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and their entrance coincided with confirmation of the dreaded team news. The list of substitutes was a throwback to the benches Sir Alex Ferguson used to pick in 90s League Cup ties that he practically threw. 8 of the United substitutes had not played for the club before kick-off, and nobody on the bench was in their 20s. The 30-year-old Victor Lindelof was the substitute's babysitter. The substitutes' squad numbers added up to 393. Amorim did not make a change until the 90th minute. 5 substitutes were told to warm up again as late as the 70th minute, with the starting 11 ploughing on. Tottenham made all 5 substitutions by the time Chido Obi emerged. 5 United substitutes paced up and down the touchline were called back, took their seats and sat down in the 79th minute. The prolific Obi was then on his feet again, pounding the muddied turf, awaiting a debut. He turned into a ball boy, fetching it for Dorgu. Obi, with the number 56 below his name, crossed the white line in added time. It was only last week that the United reserves coach Travis Binion remarked that Sekou Kone was not physical enough for second-string football. Kone arrived to some fanfare on transfer deadline day in August and was photographed with the technical director Jason Wilcox.